How many football fans do we have here? Can you please raise your hands? Any football fans? I can see a few hands. Yeah, I can see both your hands up, sir. Thank you. Because the next session is about football. This session is a must listen and a must watch for all the fans across the country who follow football. Sandeep Menon, author of Sacred Grounds, a journey through people's football in India, is about players, communities, tournaments, and traditions of Indian football. Jaydeep Basu, whose new book, Who Stole My Football, asks uncomfortable but essential questions, draws on 3 decades of frontline reporting across global sport. Prithvijit, President Inter Kashi, as the perspective of someone who built a champion club from scratch and steered it into the ISL. The session is anchored by Arka Bhattacharya, who has worked across coaching, communications, and football development. Please welcome all the gentlemen on stage.
Hi, good afternoon. How many Indian football fans in the house? Show of hands. Okay. How many are aware of what's going on in Indian football? Okay. So we'll start with the last year's champion, and he had to fight quite a few battles, some battles in Switzerland as well. So without further ado, how does it feel? Is this how you envisioned your title, the time after your title winning season to be?
I think we were very fortunate. Whatever happened outside the pitch helped us build a huge amount of fan base. If you look at positivity, I think if this whole drama did not happen, a Netflix series could not have happened, or maybe will happen in future. But it definitely gave a lot of eyeballs to the club. It helped a lot of people know what Inter Kashi is all about, and it helped to show that if you're true and you play by the book, eventually you win. So I think it was a good experience.
No introduction needed. 4 decades as an Indian football journalist, Jaydeep Basu, the legend. Sir, what was life before the league? Because we don't have a league now. How was life before the league, for the ecosystem, for the players? What was Indian football on a day-to-day basis back then?
Which league you are talking about?
National Football League, 1996.
Acha, you were talking about before the 1996. Matlab, you were asking whether it is good or bad or what? Yeah.
How was life, daily life like?
See, this league couldn't be stopped. It had to come because AFC was very determined that India have a all India pan-India based league. So Mr. Dashmunshi was the president at that time. So he had to bring in. There was no second saying about that. But before that, it has only done one, disadvantage to Indian football. Indian football was, the activities were much more. If you look at 96 season, there was such a problem that all the players were playing at least 60 matches. And in 96, 97 season, I think, which you were talking about, the All India Football Federation had to issue coupons for the players. They selected maybe 30, 40 players they selected, and they gave them, all of them were given coupons of 50 matches. So before every match, they have to the match commissioner give one coupon. The moment they finish 50 matches, after that they cannot play. So it went to, I still remember Basudev Mandal, who was India captain at that one point of time. In one Durand Cup, he couldn't play after 2 matches because he finished his 50 matches coupon. So activities were much more. The league has restricted the NFL, which later became I League, restricted the activities, and post 2014, when the Indian Super League was introduced, and when it became the Premier League in 2019, I think 2019, I don't remember exactly, the activities has drastically come down for the senior players, senior activities, definitely.
Speaking about 50 matches, Sandeep Menon, you went to Mizoram this time.
Yeah.
As part of your book, Sacred Grounds. You guys should check it out. It's a fantastic book about India's cultural hubs and where India's football comes from, right? tell us more about, because he said 50 matches. I'm guessing Mizoram and Manipur are the only two states right now where a player can potentially get 50 matches. What is your takeaway from visiting those two cultural hubs of Indian football?
Manipur I visited before the problem that they are facing right now, which has really affected their football ecosystem. It's still happening, but obviously it's not as easy from the hills to come down and play and things like that. So it's become a little complicated. I think if it doesn't get sorted, it's going to impact Manipur, which is producing a lion's share of our players. It's going to affect them very badly in the future, 10, 15 years down the line. But Mizoram was beautiful, man. If you are a football fan, Mizoram is the place for you. Everybody is involved in playing. The villages are. So they have this tournament. I went for these village tournaments, and they would just drive down with the buses at night. Men, women, everybody, children, all of them sitting in the stands, and the matches are happening. It's live telecasted. The Mizoram Football Association has done a phenomenal job in raising funds, in running leagues, in running or help running these kind of smaller tournaments. There is a Young Mizo Association, YMA Cup as well. So n number of tournaments for them, and these players who have left, they make it a point whenever they come back to be part of these events. So even if like Reliance is running their youth league, the Nopang League, which is from under 8 onwards, I think. Under 6, yeah, under 6 to under 12, and they have 14s and all that. Every single time a player from the ISL finishes or he comes for a break, he makes sure that on that weekend they go there, talk to these kids. They look, I come from Dwarpui, or I come from Lunglai, somewhere. I come from where you are from, and I can do it, so can you. And they have a phenomenal local hero called Mama, Shiloh Mama, who is probably the pathbreaker for, probably is the pathbreaker for Mizoram football. And everything about them is so much about their culture and their daily lives. So one funny instance was, the Santosh Trophy was going on at that time when I was there, and there was a couple of local tournaments happening. So apparently in one WhatsApp group they were saying, should Mizoram continue in Santosh Trophy or should they get knocked out, so that these players can come and play for their locality. And the lion's share of them are like, no, just get knocked out and come play for our locality, because the pride is so involved with their football, and everything sort of, that entire community is so in love with the game. And I just love it. Every time I get a chance to go, I'm going to go and do whatever I can to help. And to be fair, I just want to add this as well. Reliance is doing a phenomenal job there with the Nopang League as well.
Absolutely. And I think speaking of culture, Prithvijit here is trying to do, I would say, a gargantuan task of building culture in a region which has 250 million people. UP's first professional club, UP's first ISL club, Inter Kashi. So how tough is it? Because people say there are already established cultural hubs of India, right? And then there are people who are saying you're trying to build from absolute zero, right? Clean slate. How tough is it?
I think you have plus and minus. The biggest advantage is there's no football, so you can start and do where you think you can do and what you want to do. I come from a state, Bengal, where there's so much potential, but unfortunately there's not enough football at the grassroots. They play the CFL for 2-3 months, but that's about it. And I think it pains me a lot to see that Bengal, which was once the hub of football, now hardly has many national team players. So when I got the opportunity to join Inter Kashi, and I felt that this couldn't be a better way to start from zero, I was very surprised that UP has a huge football culture. In the villages, in the towns, a lot of kids play football. It's just that they don't have a pathway. It's not talked about a lot. I think the association, because it's such a large state, the association is not able to manage, or they're sleeping somewhere. It's a problem. But I think if we can get more coaches and work out a grassroots, we have a plan of 10 years, 2034. And I feel that we're going to go out to the smaller districts. We feel there is a lot of hard work to do, but kids are plenty. I mean, you will not have a shortage of kids playing. Like we were very amazed that in Banaras, in Kashi, there is this coach called Bhairav sir, and he has every evening 200 kids playing football. They don't have anything. Even the football is probably 20 years old. It's hardly a ball. But I think the interest is so much. It's just that the lack of opportunity, the lack of playing time or tournaments is what is putting them behind, and that was the biggest attraction for us. Because I feel if Meghalaya can do it, we've seen in the last 10 years what Karnataka has done. There's no reason if you do a proper structured plan, somewhere like UP, 100%, I mean, you would have kids coming out by the dozen.
And Inter Kashi also started this great CSR initiative where they're actually sponsoring the under 15 and under 17 teams of Bhairavji, the girls, and I think that's fantastic because usually we've seen clubs reluctant to get involved in the community, but you've actually taken a step forward and done it, so kudos. Right?
So one thing I want to say is, like, we are very clear as a club, it's a UP club, and by 2030 we want to have at least 70% of the senior team, boys and girls, from the state. Because unless you have players from the state, you're not doing any real football. I mean, importing from different state, to me, isn't the right way to do it. Everyone should be in their own state, and you develop your state. That's how you would get fans to the ground. That's how you'll have everything. So everyone has to do that.
I think absolutely. I think fantastic thought process there, and I wish you all the best. Coming to Jaydeep Basu's book, please check it out. I think it's a fantastic tell-all account of his time at the AIFF and I think a little time span before that. But coming to you, Jaydeep sir, what do you, when he spoke about the state affairs, and I know you've written a lot about the AIFF, let's speak about the basis levels. Let's speak about the state affairs and district affairs. Is it always possible to oversee, and is it always possible to regulate what they're doing? Because legally, from what I understand, they are independent entities. They're independently registered trusts. So they're not exactly subsidiaries as you would play.
It's certainly not possible because, see, India is such a big country. It is difficult to manage always in whatever sector, whether it is political sector or any other sector. Sport is also a part of it only. So it's difficult. See, if you get into that area, the problem is Indian football is, biggest problem is human resource. You don't get the right people. And when Indian football was doing well internationally, decently it was doing, I won't say doing well, but it was doing decently in international football. There were still some people who wanted to be associated with the game, not only in AIFF but across the country. I can name a lot of states where some well-known people were associated, well-known people, they were successful in their respective areas, they were associated with football. But slowly it has gone down. Now even I shouldn't name them, so let's skip it. So there are states, there are several states which are being run by people who are there for a long time, maybe for 30 years, 40 years, who actually shouldn't have been there at all, but still they are there because nobody cares. That's the problem. You can only get better people, you only remove them is somebody has some interest to take it over, but because that vacuum cannot be there, it has to be, the void has to be filled. So, so there are several states in the country. There are some good also. It's not that some of them are not good. They are. But there are several states in the country who are governed by people, whose football is governed by people who shouldn't be there actually. That's all. And so if they are not doing anything, it is very difficult to sit in Delhi and start monitoring them. And like any other federation in the country, Football Federation is also based on vote politics. So that thing you have to keep in mind. Anybody who is running the show in Delhi, or for that matter in the AIFF you are talking about, they have to also keep in mind that after 4 years they have to face another election. So that area is a very gray area. Even if I am there, I would be bothered about my next election. So I can't really blame them. So it is like that. So it's a vicious circle where so even if you lift the administration, make it better at the national level, at the top, in all 36 affiliated units, to do it is a very, very difficult task which you are asking. So it is not possible to monitor from here.
I think Basu sir shedding some light on what's happening at the grassroots and basis levels, and thank you for the clarity, sir. I think often there's a
see there are some states which you are talking about, grassroots level is doing very well, like Sandeep just mentioned. There are states, but there are states where grassroots is absolute frozen zero, like the state he is currently representing. So that is the problem. There is a contrast. So unless it is the thing is unified across the country, at least to some extent some balance is maintained, it is, and there are states where it is haphazard. People are, if some good players are coming, they are not coming up because of organizational backup, but haphazardly. So all three has to be put in a balanced system, which is not very easy for anyone for that matter, because so far nobody could.
Sandeep, Jaydeep Das spoke about human resource, he spoke about haphazardness. Is it true that you've seen in these hubs that some of the football that is produced there comes out of essentially what is chaos, or essentially randomness also sometimes produces footballers, that there is a set system in place for about half a century or so that is just pushing footballers out by the dozen?
I guess, like you mentioned, it's like a combination of all these things. But the ones that you produce or consistently produce, they have a very strong grassroots culture. Even if it's not organized by, say, the state association or by any real players, might be organized by the community, might be organized by somebody from outside, or a bunch of NGOs and things like that. As long as people get to play, what you said is absolutely correct. As long as you play, that's the only way you develop, and the opportunity has to come. And if it doesn't come from say AIFF, now I think the elite leagues, the youth leagues, if you win championships, I think you play 15 games. That's not enough. You need to play a lot more, right? So you need to have like a robust structure where kids are allowed to play. Like Karnataka is a good example in the sense of having a better ecosystem now, where they've got this double pass league who runs 30-40 games a year season. Then they have a youth premier league which again runs another 30-40 games. So these kids get a lot of chance to basically train, play, recover, train, play, recover. So that's the model, right? I remember a story that Ranady Singh once mentioned. Ranady is a former Indian footballer, great free kick taker and all. A long time, 10 years, 11 years he played for the national team. Yeah, more than that. So he mentioned playing against Japan in the age group level, under 19 or under 17, under 19 I think. And he said we lost 2-1 or 2-0. And he played against this player called Nakamura, who was playing on the same wing. And later on he went to Celtic. So Nakamura is a great free kick taker, went to Celtic, had a great career. So I think 7 years later they played each other again in the World Cup qualifier. 2002, yeah. And India lost 7-0. And he said the difference that I saw in him from the age where we were like 2-1, 2-0, sort of similar, but he was still better, to this night and day difference. And he said it's just a lack of game time that you are having. And if we can provide that, which Mizoram is doing, which Karnataka is trying to do, which happens in Manipur as well, but a lot of Manipur players also leave at a very young age. They go to TFAs and Delhi FC, many other Minerva, all these places also to train. So the most important thing for them is to play. And there are some states where they don't play at all, but they still produce some players. But then that's the local hero effect that you have. Like the Kashmir football culture is slowly starting to recover because they've had Danish Farouk, Sohail, yeah, and few of them coming out since they had good players before. But there was a lull, and then these couple are coming, and Real Kashmir started, Lone Star Kashmir started doing okay, so suddenly they had opportunities, interest. Political situation is bad now, but for a while it was sort of okay, so that also helped. So you need that one guy to basically punch through, and then the rest will follow. And that can happen haphazardly, but once it does, I think it's onus is on everybody to make sure that that momentum is not lost.
I think in addition, I'd just like to mention that a lot of Kashmiris have told me that football used to be the #1 sport. A lot of, to the 50s, 60s, J&K Bank, a lot of these PSUs and public sector units used to uphold football there, but obviously we've seen a lull. And
the scariest thing that I saw was in Goa when Euro was happening. Euro was happening, and on TV it was cricket match. I never expected that to happen in Goa, but that was fairly scary.
I think goes to prove that culture can be there, but if not nurtured, it can also disappear.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and that comes next question. Obviously now UP has a top tier national level player, Akash Mishra as well. So we've seen local heroes that are cropping up. But in times like these, when there's obviously uncertainty about the league, I've seen the Inter Kashi playing the Governors Gold Cup, trying to keep operations going, whereas we've seen a lot of clubs suspending operations. The question is, how do you keep going? How do you, not just for yourself, but for your staff, for your sponsors, for everybody in your ecosystem, what is the kind of messaging that you're essentially putting out at this point?
I think it's the best time now to focus on the academy, the youth, because they are your future. I mean, you can't do much what the federation is doing. I mean, you can only do what is in your hand. And I think like what we are doing is we are pushing more on the academy. Like for the Gold Cup also, our youth under 18 team is playing. I think we have a very clear mandate that this year the under 18 team will play as many invitation tournaments as possible. Because the biggest thing lacking in India is game time. So you can take it as an advantage or disadvantage. We feel that whole situation right now is a pause for everyone, but it is also an opportunity for you to have your academy kids, the younger boys, your local boys, to give them game time, and maybe something comes out. I mean, just look at it positively. I mean, there is so much negativity around, and it's I think it's the first time ever that if you go on any social media and write about football, all you will see is negativity, and I think it's a bad thing. I think we should, as a community, look at the positive and shut out the negative. It's the only way to go ahead, and maybe seeing that, maybe the federation will try and think, and maybe they will have some guilt conscious. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
We can only hope at this point of time. Jaydeep was speaking about, and he's right. If you just search the hashtag Indian football on X, you will find a slew of comments saying some are blaming players, some are blaming administrators, some are blaming coaches. But there's this whole circle of blame that's going around, right?
And I just wanted to add one thing. I think when we lost to Bangladesh, and there was this whole movement that India should be ashamed and all of that, I feel sometimes the blame should be more for the administrators, because the players have not played. How can you blame a team who's just come for 10-day pre-season or warm-up and go for a match? This time is when they would be playing the ISL or the I-League in competitive matches. They would have the match practice, they will have the match fitness, and then they can compete. Add to it, the players don't know if they will get the salaries. They don't know if they have contracts. There's so much going on in their mind. EMIs they have to pay. And it is just shocking and strange that everyone is saying we will do something tomorrow, and then it's the whole story like tomorrow never comes. So I don't know. I think the whole system right now, especially what is going on, we really hope the federation says, okay, we will do it not today, we will do it now, and we will close it. Is the only way. I think if they have some, I don't know, moral or some guilt conscious, just do something and close it and say, okay, in the next 1 hour, we will give you the solution, and then we start on football. It cannot be that come back on another day, we will do one more meeting, we will do another press thing, we'll do another photograph session. I don't think the crowds are now going to buy this whole thing off tomorrow.
Can I just ask one thing as someone who runs a club? When you have no clarity on when the league is starting, before you never had much clarity on when the calendar was starting, how difficult is it for you to run a club? Because you have to logistics, you have to book flights, you have to pay people, contracts, hotels. How it's like a. I'm just asking.
No, I think if you ask me, I am now thinking, and this is what the ownership is also thinking, did we invest in a wrong sport? Why did we get into this thing? I mean, is it worth this whole stress to take? I mean, we are a new club, and we are wondering that why did we do it? I think the biggest question is, why did we do it? Should we continue doing the first team? Should we keep waiting, or should we forget, close down the club and just focus on the academy? It's a very serious discussion we're having internally, because you never know. I mean, every day we hear that there will be a solution tomorrow.
Yeah, some meeting or something. Yeah. Okay, that is actually quite scary.
Guys, this is the most honest session you will see at this fest, and a round of applause for all of them for speaking so openly, because usually there's a code of omerta in sports. You have administrators, officials not speaking, but here there are three people, they're addressing the elephant in the room. They're not shying away from it, and kudos, because somehow all three of you are still involved, and there is no light at the end of a tunnel. So going to Jaydeep, is this the doomsday situation? If a league doesn't happen, is it, because obviously we risk a FIFA ban if the league doesn't happen. That I hope everybody in the audience knows, that if the league doesn't happen, FIFA can ban the AIFF. Is this the lowest that you've seen Indian football at?
See, first of all, why should FIFA ban India? FIFA will not ban India for anything. If you stop playing football, that's not their problem. As long as you really don't do something anti-football. So FIFA ban is not a problem, I think. But I think what's going on is a criminal offense at the moment. The stopping of domestic football completely. See, Indian football's biggest complaint till a few years back in the circuit was that Indian football is too busy with its domestic season rather than its international commitments. So there was a time like that when, see, no other sports in India had so much domestic activities like football. Naturally it came. All over the countries used to be football. There are places in Kerala or somewhere where they used to hold at least 10 tournaments a year. So that is from there you have brought to a situation which is actually a lockdown in football. That's the word you can use about Indian football at the moment. Indian football is going through a lockdown period. That's all. So it's a criminal offense. It's absolute downright poor governance, because see, you are now talking about your bid process, your renewal of your contract with your marketing partners. See, your marketing partners will end on December 8, 2025. It was known from 2010. So those who came in 2022 with so much hue and cry, unfortunately I was a part of it. So the thing is that if they didn't think about it, it has come to a pass where it has a head of the organization who has perhaps no clue whatsoever, and it is backed by certain people I don't want to name, who are just his doormats, nothing else. They also have no clue, and they don't want to have any clue. So that is also there. The administration is in complete shambles, complete shambles. I can give one by one example, which perhaps I should not bring out here.
Let people read your book.
No, that's not that, because I know all of them personally, so I have no right to downgrade them in publicly. So that would be bad on my part. But the thing is that this is a period, as you asked me, that whether it is the worst I don't know, that only history will say whether it is worst or not. Time will tell. But this is unprecedented. International football we are not doing well. That's for umpteen number of times. Even my father used to say that. I also, even my son will also say that, maybe in his years to come. But we are not playing football domestically. This is something nobody. See, football is a game which is basically a spectator sports, a fun. Not more than 50 people to 210 countries play in the FIFA. I think 10, 12, whatever is the FIFA membership. Only 50 of them have so far qualified for the World Cup. So that doesn't mean rest of the 160 countries have stopped playing football. They play it. They play it for fun. We have even stopped playing for fun also. That's the thing. It's a lockdown period of Indian football.
I think that's a glaring assessment, if any. So, you were also a journalist, and we've run a podcast together for many years, right?
8 years, I think.
8 years. Yes, the administrators obviously deserve to be questioned. People are also questioning the players. They're saying that the market needs a correction, right? And people are saying that Indian football's exceeded its intrinsic value. People are pointing to countries like Vietnam, which are doing much better with much fewer resources. So football's obviously not a game of resources. It's a question of more will and intent, right? So coming back to the players, and Prithvijit raised a valid point. He said they're not playing right now. So they're playing international football, and the intensity of which is far higher, right? So it's like the car has stopped and you're essentially accelerating 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. You're asking them to go from zero load to maximum load in a matter of 5 days, right? So sports science also does not agree with that approach. Where are the players? Where do they stand in all of this? And do they deserve their share of brickbats?
I mean, I can't blame them for making money, because fundamentally everybody wants to make money, and if the market is willing to pay, you take it. I mean, I'll do the same, right? If they offer me a lot of money, I'll also do whatever, administrative, whatever it is. But the point, maybe the finger should be pointed at the agents and the club owners who are willing to make that kind of payment. Just because somebody raised the bar doesn't mean everybody has to, follow suit. But we've seen that with Chelsea doing it in the Premier League also. They started buying, and then the numbers just keep going up. PSG spent that money, and then now everybody, 100 million player is a normal thing. So there is that market correction which might be forced now because of the situation we are in. And yes, a lot of the CEOs in confidence would tell us, you and me both, that we are overpaying, but what can we do? And of course, we are underpaying, but what can we do? Because we want to get the player, and this is the market value that they are asking. And India has this, I don't know, we do a lot of investment on potential. Forget football, generally also. A lot of investment goes on, we will do this sort of a thing. But then whether the players are losing motivation because money comes too early, all these things are personal questions. Some do, some don't. That depends on their upbringing and family structure and culture and all that stuff. But I find it difficult to blame the players in this scenario. Maybe onus mostly on the administrator. And to be fair, like you said, you can't not play for months and then train for 10 days and then do 50-60 sprints at the same intensity. Suppose you will make mistakes. And the most obvious or the most sad maybe mistake that I remember recently is in the AFC, Asian Cup we played. We were drawing in the final match against Bahrain, I think, and then we made that foul, right, to concede the penalty. It was a tire tackle because he worked so hard. He worked so hard, and it was just a tire tackle, and it happens because that intensity is not something that we are used to. and we sort of have to ramp up to it. And without the league, without the I-League, ISL, I-League 2, I-League 3, state leagues, nothing like this will happen. And what annoys me more than anything else is that ISL is not happening, so none of the leagues are happening, even women's league. Women are actually doing much better than men at this moment, and they should be given all the support for it.
I just wanted to add something from the club's point of view. I think clubs get stuck on a vicious cycle when you're chasing the trophy. So sometimes there's a thought process, if I pay more money and get the best player, I would win the cup. And which is why everyone is chasing the players and paying the money. I don't think it's the fault of the player. The player is a professional, so he would want to get the most money he wants, and nobody's putting a gun in your head to pay it. I think it's also the thought process that you need the best player and only then can you win. I don't think sports works like that. I think it's not always that you get the highest budget team and you win. It's the balance in the team. Aizawl is a good example.
Look, I-League is littered with these, right? Aizawl, Chennai City, Minerva, three back-to-back champions who are not paying the most amount of money. Yeah. So we have this example, but I don't know why we still fall into that trap.
I think you want to have the thought process that having the best player would give you a better chance of winning the league. Maybe in business, having the best CFO, CEO will make you successful business. But sports doesn't work. Like in sports, it's not 1 + 1, 2, 1 + 1. In sports can be 11, it could be 20. And I think that understanding is something which is still being grasped by a lot of clubs. And maybe that's why the ownership level approves the budget to get those players, because there's also this whole feeling that if I don't get this player, what if I can't score the goals? What if I can't defend properly? And which forces the clubs to spend that money. How do you solve it? I also don't know.
As a club president, and you started an IWL2 team this year, and kudos. But in a year where the women have performed phenomenally, for the first time in 20 years, the under-17, under-20 and the senior women's team have all qualified for Asia. And that's no mean feat. It's no mean feat at all. Only 12 teams, mind you, because the men's division has 24, only 12 teams. So they're among the top 12 in every category, right? But now, this year, we're seeing an IWL where the league's duration is 38 days. 38 days in this, the most crucial of years.
First leg. There will be another leg in April. Yeah.
Both legs put
Combined.
together are 38
okay.
days. So 16 days and then 22 days. So does this justify the type of investment that you're looking to make into women's football? Because what do you see when you see that the top division is 38 days?
So when we started our women's team last year and we played IWL2, a lot of the girls were local girls, and we wanted to continue the team for a few years to eventually go to IWL and compete with locals. And you were leading the whole assignment. Unfortunately, I think there is certain planning which the federation does, which I am not able to understand. Which is why this year we don't know what's going to happen to IWL2, how it will happen, what will happen to IWL. I think it's a situation which is beyond the control of a lot of people. It's something they can explain. I mean, I'm sure it is planned in a very nice way. The intent is pure. It's something I don't understand.
Yeah, you want IWL.
Yeah.
See, IWL is reduced to now, you were saying 38 days or one leg. That's because of, again, bad planning. See, you said that India have qualified for the 3 Asian Cups, that is under 17, 20 and senior, which was known from very beginning, isn't it? So, you knew that in November, you have the Asian Championship, AFC, where East Bengal players will be there. So, you cannot hold the IWL for a few days, and immediately after the AFC there will be SAF. And SAF also, you have sent the first team again. You have recommended East Bengal again as the IWL champions, which you should have recommended Gokulam, the second team. You could have, but you didn't do it. So East Bengal will be again in SAF. So there is again if you have a IWL window, East Bengal will not be available because they have the maximum number of national team players in the team. So your IWL will be. So these things were known from 4 months earlier, but you never planned it. Now I think today you put out the tender for the IWL only 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago I think, or 1.5 weeks ago. Yesterday I think was the last date for queries. So now you will open the bid. Now bid will come new out. So it's downright poor planning. You could have planned it better. See, this regime, the current people who are currently running the AIFF, their biggest success story was IWL in home and away basis, which has never happened before, and that is one of the reasons your national team has done well. Nobody expected them to beat Thailand in the qualifier in Thailand, but they beat them. So your girls did well. So now your own success you are trampling down. That's the problem. You never planned it. Because the moment you sent Gokulam's East Bengal name for the SAF also, there you killed your entire window. You could have sent Gokulam.
It's almost as if they didn't expect to qualify.
See, some people suggested that that Gokulam should be sent. I think East Bengal sent a letter, and AIFF succumbed to it, and they sent East Bengal. So, but then nobody thought how this window can be managed in that case. In that case, you should have started the IWL earlier. Now you are having a series of national camps because your players are nowhere to play. And they were supposed to go day after tomorrow to, I think, to North Macedonia to play 2 matches. I think yesterday their visa have been denied, I think. Team is most probably not going. So that's none of their, of course, not the national team's problem. But I'm saying there could be so many hindrances. You could have thought better before planning the IWL. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I just want to, I think we are talking a lot about little bit of bad management or little negativity. I think if we focus a little more on positivity, and you can't do a sporting event without medals and trophies. I think we were fortunate as the first club from Uttar Pradesh to get the trophy, and I was allowed to get the trophy here because I wanted to show everyone what it is to win I-League, and I think it's going to be a big
the I-League trophy, ladies and gentlemen.
So I just want to take this moment to put it out to everyone that you do have whatever bad happens in football, at the end, this is what we all play for. And I think this is something which going on will make the change of football in Uttar Pradesh, and I think seeing us, a lot of other states and a lot of other stakeholders will start getting back into football. I think we should look at the positive side, and we should be little more positive and black out whatever is beyond our control, and we hope the federation also is more positive and looks towards the future, because I think for everyone who wants football to grow, this is what they all play for.
I think one thing that was sort of missing out on all the celebration with the women qualifying was a thank you to all the clubs who invested so much money, especially when it became home and away, it became a lot more expensive, but they still went on and did that, gave that opportunity and all that, which I think has not been spoken about enough. As much as, you know, men's football gets a lot of, the clubs get a lot of credit. Women's football, that's not happened yet. Maybe Odisha here and there, or Gokulam here and there. Yeah, Kripsa or something.
So the saga of getting the trophy could be made into a Netflix movie itself.
Could be.
It could be.
Is it?
Yeah.
And think you got your hands on the trophy 4 months after it was due.
I think the universe planned it in a way that we had to get the trophy on the pitch. So we were lucky, we were in Goa to play a Super Cup game, so after the game we got it. So we rightfully got the trophy where we should get it, which is on the pitch. So I think for that I am extremely grateful.
Some small silver linings in a dark cloud.
I think that's all what we should look at. I mean, it's what makes you wake up the next morning and go to the pitch and in the heat for everybody to fight.
Were there tears when the trophy finally?
For sure.
Sandeep, we've seen with this piece of silver, I've seen some fantastic stories around, like you said, all around the country.
Yeah.
Especially you and me have travelled. I can never forget that afternoon in Shillong, where 4,000 people from Aizawl just stormed Shillong, and the town ran out of spirit. So.
Jayesh Rane was telling me a story about this. So Jayesh Rane was playing for Aizawl. Aizawl were going for the title, and Shillong Lajang was the first team from Northeast to play I-League. And so they had to draw or win the game. Had to draw, yeah. So Shillong, apparently, the rumor was that Shillong has said the players will get bonus if you beat them. Yeah, so they have their own thing. Right? So Jayesh was playing, and this guy was playing really hard. And Jayesh apparently told him, "Yaar, aaram se khel." And that guy's like, "Nahi, nahi, mujhe bonus milega." And this one was like, "Main dunga yaar, tu aaram se khel."
But I think saying that also, this year's I-League or the last season's I-League was one of the most closely competitive game. Like, I still remember my heart beat a second. Like, Churchill had a penalty. If they had taken the penalty and if they had won, the story would be completely different. And throughout the season, there have been so many such instances. I think a competitive league with a relegation, with promotion, it brings so much interest into the teams and everyone that it makes the game much more pleasing to watch and much more contestable.
Even the league itself is so hard, right? You have to go from Delhi, Lucknow, this side, all the way to the northeast. Travel is hard.
We had one match. We played Churchill or Dempo in Goa, and the next day we traveled to Punjab. We traveled, I think, 6 hours, reached little bit past midnight, and the next morning we had a match.
This part of I-League is something people don't notice. If you are traveling from, say, Kerala, you have to go to Kashmir, you have to go to Aizawl, Lajang, Shillong.
And the time is also very short.
And the time, yeah. And quick travel, no time to recover. And a lot of these places are not one direct flight. So you have to take 2 flights and a bus, or 1 flight and a 3-hour drive. So it takes a toll to win that league.
And I think you mentioned an open league, promotion, relegation. So my question to Jaydeep Basu, there's obviously 2 schools of thought. Some people say that you can function with a closed league, like MLS was for the longest time. Now obviously there's discussions about opening up the MLS. A-League still is, but A-League has added a proper second tier now. So Jaydeep Basu, what is the thought process that goes on in the administrators regarding, because usually stories like Aizawl would never have happened if there were no open league, promotion, relegation, no Leicester City. We would not have Malby this year in Sweden, a fishing village with a population of 1,500, won the Swedish top 10. So what is the thought process that goes on? Why is there no intent towards making it an open?
There is no intent towards, I won't say, maybe a lot of people want it. But the, see, when 2014, when the ISL, it is all about ISL, what you are asking, whether it's promotion relegation in ISL. All other leagues have their promotion and relegation. So it's not that others don't have. Even IWL2 also have their promotion relegation. So in 2014, when the ISL started, it was a franchisee league. So they had 8 teams, later I think 10 teams or whatever, I don't remember. And there was no, actually there was no promotion relegation needed also, because it was only a franchisee league. And now in 2019, when they became the #1 league, officially the Premier League of India, then in AFC, when that meeting held in 2019, I think 19 or 19, I think it was 19. So there they agreed in front of AFC that they will allow relegation from 2025 onwards. But they never complied to it from last year. Last year they should have complied it. I think last year they should have complied. They allowed promotion but did not do the relegation. And because of the pressure of the marketing partners, AIFF also did not press for it. Actually, AIFF actually batted for them. And that a lot of people said they are defying the AFC, what they agreed in front of AFC. But they batted for them. Then AIFF Deputy General Secretary, he wrote some letters which very much favored stopping of relegation. So that's all on record, because I have seen those copies, so I know. So there was no, but the problem is without relegation the leagues becomes a bit boring. That is the thing. But once once it comes to January, when the 6 teams are specified, which are the more or less you know, which are the rest of the 6 teams, I won't say stop playing, but you can see they are going through the motion, because they are not getting relegated, nothing to lose, nothing to gain. So let's go out and play. Which actually, if you see you have to listen to the experts. Like Igor Stimac was 5 years India coach. Igor Stimac was very much in favor of promotion relegation. He used to say on a daily basis that promotion relegation is very necessary for the development of the game in India. So if you, even all foreign coaches have said that promotion relegation is needed. So if you look at from the expert point of view, it should be there, but administrators have their own problems. Not always everything is hunky-dory that you can stick to the rules and do something. So if you ask me, then I will prefer relegation and promotion, because it becomes, the match becomes better. You watch better matches. That's all.
Jaydeep, do you think, or what is your view, if ISL and I-League clubs, the number of teams grow, and only then you start promotion relegation, or you think 14 is a good number?
See, you can always do one thing, that you can relegate one team and promote 2 teams. It will come to 16 teams at one day in two years' time. That's all. That also can be done. You relegate one team and promote 2 teams. Problem is I-League promotion. Problem is most of the I-League teams are not ready. But financially ready from the administrative points of view, but that doesn't mean they won't be ready tomorrow. If they can be ready tomorrow. If Inter Kashi is ready, Punjab became ready, they became ready. They did whatever little bit had to be done. They have done so far. Okay, Modern Sporting failed. There would be some stories of failure and success both, but that doesn't mean you have to close the door. I thought one team can be demoted and 2 can be promoted. It can be an experiment. Let us see. They can. If you are really kicked around and kicked at the top, then you may start behaving yourself properly and do something to come to the level, isn't it?
Sandeep, you spoke about speaking to club CEOs and all of that, and he actually is a very good suggestion, because we've seen a lot of leagues do that. When they're restructuring, they promote and relegate an uneven number of teams, right? So, is there a, what do you say, hesitancy from, because we've heard that XYZ club will shut down if they get relegated. For the benefit of the audience here, how true or false is that?
That they will shut down if they get relegated? Yeah. Like from ISL?
From ISL.
Well, it's tough to say, because sometimes they might just say these things to push a certain narrative. But if they do shut down, then my view is that sport is all about winning and losing. Sometimes you lose. So you just have to take it on the chin. Do you have it in you to climb back up and come again? Or do you not have? Aizawl is a great story, right? They got relegated. But at that time, for whatever reason, nobody was getting relegated. They just kept continuing. So the next year they went on and won the league. So they showed they could do it. Shillong Lajong had a very soft exit from I League, but surprisingly came back. Even Ming was surprised that they qualified. But once they qualified, they got their sort of house in order and played the league. So I'm sure they can do it if they want to. The question is, are you willing to take that fall? Because just like falling from ISL to I League is a huge gap in terms of visibility. When you talk to, say, Gokulam and all these clubs, and I'm sure you will also have faced the same thing. You can't attract sponsors because you don't know when it's being telecasted, where it is being telecasted, when is the league coming, how many games, all these kind of details. So it's hard, but I think it's all about sport, right? Win and you lose.
Yeah, nobody can hold the system at ransom. If somebody says I will go out if I am relegated, then let them go. Most of them are empty threats, but let them. Nobody, see, you can't play with the system against the rule. You can't. You have to follow the widely followed rule all over the world. Some semblance of system should be there. See, if only the marketing partners and your people who are pouring in money can hold a gun on your head and say that football will be played in my way only. That's not right. Nobody should be given that leverage.
But Jaydeep, also adding to this, in the last 10 years of the existence of the ISL, there has been instances in the I League where clubs have been relegated, but then not been relegated.
Yeah, that's what I say. So the problem is in the last 10 years, the rules have been flouted so many times that now it has become a as if this is the rule only. Flouting rules is that's the problem. See, in 1996-97 first NFL, there was a qualifier. Mohun Bagan did not qualify. First NFL went on without Mohun Bagan, India's oldest team. There was so much hue and cry, but still it went on. The administrators did not flinch. They wanted Mohun Bagan, I am very sure. But so somebody has to put their foot down and say it. There is life beyond Mohun Bagan also. That's what NFL proved. And first NFL, I am telling you with responsibility, is the most successful league ever held in this country. 96-97 league. Most ever held. And that went without Mohun Bagan. So some team which cropped up in 2014 and tells you that I will not play, so let them not play. That's all.
And there is also instance within the last 10 years, Pune FC, there was Bharat FC, there was so, yeah, and previously also club shut down. I come from Kerala, we had Kerala Police, we had Titanium, we had
FC Cochin.
We had so many, Premier Tier, so many teams, they come and go and somebody else will come.
So see, those who have closed down, they had to close down on this pretext, let them close down, okay, go ahead.
Well, time's up, but we'll take a final parting note from each of you guys. Start with Prithvijit. Any thoughts? What's going to happen? And like you said, silver linings. What are they?
Focus on your academy. Focus on players from your city, from your district. I think that's the only way to make football sustainable.
Focus on governance. Because football all over the world is now, good football wherever it is played, it is because of good administration, good governance. Football is now a game for the management people, and bring in better people, bring in better human resources. Somebody don't have to play football to come to football administration. You need good administrators. They may not have played football, doesn't matter, but they are educated people, knowledgeable people. They know how the world is run properly. Bring them in. Things will get better.
All I can say is, because for the book that I traveled and I focus so much on the grassroots and these local tournaments and local culture, anybody who says India does not have a football culture they don't know what they are talking about. There is immense love for football. The number of people who play, who watch, who may not watch the I League or ISL but are involved in football in some way, shape or form is tremendous. All we need, like Jaydeep says, someone at the top to sort of make things better so that this passion can be sort of funneled into performances and results, which I hope, which will take 15-20 years, but that's a challenge. Like the Japanese model, they started with a 100-year model.
2094.
Yeah, now 30 years in, they are already World Cup qualified. I mean, they are already in World Cups and they are getting into the men's team or, quarter-final level. They beat Germany, they are playing well against, I think they beat Brazil also. So they are starting to show in 30 years what long-term vision does. All we need is administrators with a vision that goes beyond their term. Set it up and see where it goes. And people like Jaydeep and I will write about them and make sure that the legacy lives on.
So there you go. The ISL may come and go. It may happen, may not happen, but Indian football is alive and kicking in its pockets. And as long as there are people here to keep it alive, the spirit of Indian football will be alive. It is our oldest sport. We host the world's third oldest tournament, the Durand Cup, for people who might not know. We love our football, and so should you. Support your local academy today, support your local club today, because who knows, one day they might go on to do something spectacular. So yes, we are alive, Indian football is alive, barely, but yes. Thank you all, fantastic session.
Have a few questions here from the audience. If you could please take your seats and.
First of all, congrats to Sandeep. It's a wonderful. The book is written by especially for the Indian football. How you, Jaydeep sir, and all the people you said about this Indian culture of the football. What about the future of that? All the youngsters is playing, and all the the new generation is coming for that Indian football. What will be the future? So that's why I want to say to ask you the question to Jaydeep sir. So this is because of all the young kids. The parents, they love to see. I'm a cricket coach and a mentor, right? Because cricket is so much popular in India, internationally, and if you can see that, the Indian football culture is like that. Through that I got that news. But what about that new generation to play in this kind of football? To parents to secure this especially for this soccer. Yeah.
So I didn't understand what you mean by secure their future. Can you please explain it?
You said that no, there is no ISL, that Indian football. I am said that no, it's how they are going to trend, and because of there is no money at all, then there is no the federation, all the governments is not to be look after these the football culture. That's why I'm to give you the questions to you.
So I think most of it we have so far last 1 hour discussed what you were asking, but I will. I have only, as I said, it's going through a very difficult period at the moment. So it's very difficult for me to predict what is the future. I think in the next 20 days or 1 month, and if this season is not played, if 2024-25 season is finally locked down, and it seems now, then it has a chance of turning for the worse. But if they manage to play it now, yesterday in the Supreme Court, the government of India has also has said it will do its best to keep the sport going. Then let's see, sir. Just light went. That's it.
Yeah, hi. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Piyush, and I am from New Delhi Institute of Management. My name is Piyush, and I am from New Delhi Institute of Management. Sir, I have a question to the whole panel. We have seen the governance failure in AIFF. Started in 2022 when FIFA banned us, and then in 2025, a warning by FIFA and AFC together was there for AIFF. So my question is, what are the non-negotiable reforms at the top level you think that should be done in the short term and the long term?
I think Prithvijit is an administrator, so let him answer the question.
I think it's very simple. I think it's for the federation to make a calendar and stick to the calendar, not change the calendar by one day. If you do that, then the sports runs the way it should run.
Hello. Sir, is it okay if I speak in Hindi?
Yes, sir, please, बोलिए.
सर मैं ये मानता हूँ कि किसी भी गेम में कई सारे पिलर होते हैं. प्लेयर्स एक पिलर है, लीग एक पिलर है, गवर्नमेंट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एक पिलर है. इस तरह कई पिलर गिने जा सकते हैं हर गेम में. इंडियन मॉडल, जितनी भी गेम्स हैं, इंडियन मॉडल ये है कि पहले लीग क्रिएट करो, पैसा घुमाना शुरू करो, एंड देन वी केयर फॉर द प्लेयर्स नर्सरी. हर गेम में जहां लीग आई उसके बाद नर्सरीज आई. और आप अगर गौर से देखें, जो दूसरे कम्पिटिटिव कंट्रीज़ हैं जिनके बहुत अच्छी हिस्ट्री रही है, उनमें पहले उन्होंने नर्सरी पैदा की. उनके पास एक कंसिस्टेंट सप्लाई है स्टूडेंट्स की. उनके यहाँ नर्सरी इतनी बड़ी है कि उनके यहाँ गेम कभी या शॉर्टेज ऑफ टैलेंट कभी होता ही नहीं. सो हम अपने मॉडल को, इंडियन मॉडल को दूसरे मॉडल्स के साथ कंपेयर करें, मेरी सजेशन है, क्योंकि दिस इज़ एन प्लेस जहाँ पे बहुत सारे वॉइस वाले लोग हैं जो वॉइस बनाना और वॉइस को आगे बढ़ाना जानते हैं. मैं आप सबसे अर्ज करता हूँ कि मॉडल को कंपेयर करिए. हमारे यहाँ कौन सी ऐसी कंट्रीज़ हैं, उनके पीछे स्पोर्ट्स का क्या मॉडल है. एक बड़ी छोटी सी ऑब्जर्वेशन है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया जो कि हर गेम में लीडर है, उनकी मेन गेम वो जिसको वो फुटी बोलते हैं, जिसको हम शायद वो कुछ कहते हैं, बॉल कौन सा, रग्बी कहते हैं हम, बट दे आर लीडर इन एवरी गेम. क्रिकेट में भी लीडर हैं वो, स्विमिंग में भी लीडर हैं वो, हॉकी में भी लीडर हैं, बिकॉज दे हैव अ बिग नर्सरी फॉर एवरी गेम. और उनका एक छोटा सा रिफॉर्म है, हर हाई स्कूल स्टूडेंट को हर साल एक गेम खेलनी पड़ेगी, और वो गेम खेलने के लिए उसको हर सैटरडे संडे किसी जगह पे पहुंचना होगा, किसी ग्राउंड पे जाना होगा, और उसके साथ उसके पेरेंट्स जाते हैं. जो मिडिल स्कूल के बच्चे हैं उनके साथ उनके पेरेंट्स जाते हैं. सिर्फ इतना सा रिफॉर्म गवर्नमेंट से चाहिए कि हर एक बच्चा कम से कम एक गेम में पास करेगा तो उसको 12वीं का सर्टिफिकेट मिलेगा. क्या हम ये डिमांड उठा सकते हैं? मतलब डाउन द लाइन 5 इयर्स में ये रिफॉर्म आ जाए तो आप देखेंगे कि नर्सरीज होंगी. जब आपके पास नर्सरीज होंगी तो आपके ये आज जितने आपने इश्यूज डिस्कस किए हैं उनमें से कईयों का सोल्यूशन हो जाएगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
There is no question in it.
He's just a statement.
But you can add your vision if you have something on the...
Sir, one more question here. Good afternoon, everyone. The question is to Jaydeep, sir. Sir, my question is that, the feat Inter Kashi has achieved by going to CAS, going to Switzerland and winning the trophy that they must have won at Kalyani itself. So they have defeated AIFF twice on international platform. So do you think it was a very necessary, I'll use the harsh word, slap on the face of the people who stole our football, and to the people who are outside the administration running old clubs, grand old clubs, but influencing our football very badly? So it was a very necessary slap, sir, do you think?
I couldn't get your question.
So the question is, was it very necessary that this level of embarrassment that was brought to them from Switzerland to the AIFF and to the people outside AIFF influencing our football, was it very necessary?
See, it has a two-way of looking at it. If you are a AIFF administrator, you will say, no, it is not necessary because it's hurting you. But those who have spent money and with their back to the wall and feel they have not got their justice, they will knock every door to get their justice. It doesn't matter who is harmed in this way. And so, from the Inter Kashi's point of view, I think it was very, very necessary. And if you ask me from a neutral point of view, because I think I have 2024-25 season, I have watched more I-League matches than anybody sitting here. I am very sure about it. So, I think it was very necessary, because what was going on was absolute wrong. And see, I can't comment on judicial committees, but things were manipulated so badly at certain areas, so which is actually sickening. Now, nothing we can say but sickening. So I think it was necessary in certain areas, if you ask me. But I also gave you two other from the, if you are in the AIFF side, you can always say, no, it was, we could have settled it. If you're on the club side, you will say, no, we didn't get the just. So whatever way you look at it. I finished.
Sir, I have one last question. It's a follow-up question for Mr. Sandeep. Hi, sir. So in your book, you have written the phrase "people's game," right? It's voices of the subaltern, people who are not in the decision making, right? So India is a big country, diverse country. We have regional voices for as a fan base. There is a regional voice of Northeast, South India, North India. There is not a combined national level voice for the game. So my question is, did you find a seed for that, Did you find any trend in that direction? And do you think that people's voice matter when decisions are to be made, or will it always be remain the game of politicians and bureaucrats making all the decisions? Will the institution always be in the hand of the elites captured by them, or does the people have some say in the decisions?
I mean, there is a, I mean, all of Indian sports is within certain people, right, with elites and stuff. The point is, are they running the game well or not? In football's case, the answer is a resounding no. But there is n number of people who are willing to do great things at the grassroots level. They're somehow stuck at some level because there is a certain hurdle that they can't cross. Could be administrative, could be financial, could be anything. And I don't necessarily feel there needs to be just one voice also. India is a very diverse country, and I think we should celebrate the diversity of people, of thought, of playing styles. All these things will keep happening. So there was a period when Goa was winning all the leagues. There was a period when Calcutta was winning. Then now the Northeast players are coming. So I think it's fair. And whoever has the best players and the best administrators probably should be the ones who are leading the charge. That's my view. May not be right, but that's my view.
If I can.
Thank you.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
No.
Speak loudly.
Yeah, no.
If you look at football across India, right, there is no one voice because the football itself is different. If I go to Mizoram, they are all trained in backyards and narrow valleys, which is why they produce excellent technicians, good with the ball. If I look at Goa, there's a lot of colonial influence, there's a lot of Portuguese influence. They like to essentially zip the ball around faster. If you look at not the top level, but the village tournaments that happen in a Kortelim or a Bambolim or a, if I go to a Punjab, because they produce tall strapping lads, they like to hoof the ball and they like to play a more direct.
They also have huge wide spaces to play.
So how can we have one voice of football when we have so many varieties of play styles, right? So, and we should champion this diversity, and we should come up with.
The champion what is like celebrating diversity for the sake of celebrating it is not what I want. What I want is when you want reforms in the system, you need a collective action. You can have your own views, but you need to have a consensus on the matter. When everybody is divided, it is very easy to not have any reforms in the system. And that's why we are having a situation where you correctly said that we are at a very bad point. Why are we facing a ban from FIFA? If sir has mentioned that
No, we are not facing any ban at the moment.
in 2022, why
That was an administrative thing because of third-party intervention.
It was, but again the thing is why there is not a consensus on let's get the reform done and let's get the talent pipeline started again. Because I used to play football. I live in Dwarka. We have the AIFF headquarters there, right in the Sector 19 Dwarka, right? There is no football, like no development in the name of football in that place. I have to go to Akshardham, Khelgaon, back in 2015 to play the game for Ashoka FC, to learn the game.
Chalo, wrap up.
भाई ऑफलाइन को ऑफलाइन को
Chalo.
I think.
Yeah,
this last. Yeah, I think point taken about collective action. I it's definitely something that should be deliberated. And just by the way, there is a Dwarka FC. So
চলো হয়ে গেছে
এই শেষ করো
Hi, I know it's lunchtime and everybody wants to get to lunch. My question is for Prithvijit Das. You know, a very interesting and very ironic thing is, after cricket, the one sport that has massive fan followings in this country is football. And yet the one sport where there's complete and total chaos is also football. Seeing that, my question is, for a budding club like yours, what, according to you, is the biggest challenge where the fans are concerned? How do you convince the fans that it's worth it following a team?
It's a short-term issue, but I feel that all the negativity which is happening, at least people who don't know football existed now realize there is football. And then when the whole system is going to get rebuilt, you're going to have more football happening in the mohallas and the localities, which will then build up, because I think we are all pushing and aiming, like our Honorable Prime Minister is trying to have the Olympics in 2036. So I think for all the young kids, 10 years is a good time to start the game now, and maybe you play for the Indian team in the Olympics.
I think we're all happy to take more questions offline. We are in and around, so yeah, feel free to hit us up. But I think that concludes the panel. Thank you. So many questions. Love the enthusiasm. Please support Indian football. And that's it. Adios, sayonara, namaste. That's it from us. Thank you. Thank you.
If you could all please come together for the photograph. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for the highly informative session on Indian football and the current situation of Indian football. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And now we will break for lunch, and we'll see you again at 2 p.m. Thank you so much.